How important is this tilt going to be for the Boatmen?
Massive. Of course, every game could be considered the game of the year and for the Argos going forward. But I'll steal a quote from Ottawa head coach Bob Dyce. Spoke to him yesterday, and he said to me, myself and our analyst Dwayne Ford and Rod Smith, our play-by-play maestro, that we're coming to the point of the season where you start counting down the games instead of counting up the games. And our Ryan Dinwiddie mentioned it this morning that this is a team now with the Argos that he knows the effort is there. He knows the buy-in is there. He can feel a culture in the locker room, but it hasn't translated on the field nearly enough. You can look at that win against Winnipeg a few weeks ago and certainly see ingredients for what this team can do. But was that the Argos or was that the deficiency of the Bombers? Because the Bombers responded, especially Willie Jefferson last week, and as much as the Argos took them to the wire, Jefferson just broke their backs with the amount of passes that he knocked down. And if the Argos can't overcome a team like Winnipeg back-to-back and try to claw their way back in the East, it makes tomorrow's game incredibly crucial. But I think more so for Ottawa. Certainly, Ryan Dinwiddie can look at you and say, I don't have Chad Kelly. My offensive line's all over the place. I don't have my outstanding offensive lineman, Ryan Hunter. I've had issues on my defensive line. I've had injuries kind of sprinkled throughout the field. They're dealing with an injury to one of their great receivers, Kevin Mittal, right now. And yet, he can say, look at my body of evidence. I've taken them to 2 Grey Cup championships, always go to the East Final. This might be a mulligan year. On the flip side with Ottawa, Bob Dyce can't say that. I mean, Drew Brown is a great quarterback. Everyone loves him across the league. But they haven't been able to build anything consistently. Sure, they get a win over Calgary last week, but was that Ottawa, or is it the fact that Calgary was playing a backup quarterback who clearly looked like a backup quarterback in the Canadian Football League? So it feels like a coin flip in terms of who it matters more to, but I lean more to Ottawa because their general manager, Sean Burke, has put a lot of work into revitalizing the lineup. They've had their injuries as well, but they don't have nearly as long a leash as Ryan Dinwiddie and the Argos have.
The Argos, I know it wouldn't be a proper TSN 1050 interview if we didn't ask you a Chad Kelly question. So my question to you is like,
it's mandatory now.
But like, are you anticipating the Argos just not being with Kelly the rest of the year at this point?
I'm getting close to it because the one thing that Ryan and I don't say that. I'm not saying that to say I don't think he'll come back at all. But the injury that he had is far more significant than I think we, and meaning us in the media, not that we didn't realize it, but that we really gave it credit for. Because he broke his leg. Like tibia, it just shattered on him. And when you're thinking about and I saw this injury, you talk about football, Brendan. I saw this injury at Tajon Buchanan as well. But it wasn't nearly as severe as what happened to Tajon Buchanan. Certainly Buchanan came back, could sprint, could shift, could change direction, no problem. That is the big issue with Chad Kelly. It's the weight. It's the resistance. It's the ability to escape the pocket. It's the ability to rely on that right leg when he needs it. And if he can't, that's an issue. And I don't fault the Argos, and Dinwiddie has said this, as much as they're paying attention to what's going to happen in this season, they're also very, very aware of the rest of Chad Kelly's career and certainly his life after football, and they don't want to put him in a situation where you break that again. That's no bueno. So how you look at it whole cloth and think, well, when is he going to be able to come back? He's back on the 6-game injured list right now. That kind of tracks to around Labor Day. That might be realistic. Kelly is splitting his time between Buffalo and Toronto, but we've had so many setbacks in this whole scenario, in this whole soap opera, that it's hard not to expect another one. Believe me, I have been on the sidelines. I can tell you, if Chad Kelly's chirping is any indication, he is raring to go and get back on the field. But I know the Argos are being very, very cautious. One, because they have the investment in him, but two, if he gets injured with that leg and there's a break or there's a compound or something, knock on wood, happens bad again, it would be pretty devastating, not only to the Argos, but specifically to Chad Kelly.